right, let's get this thing going. What up, everybody? We know what time it is. We know what time it is. It is a blessing to be here with you all today at this time. Yeah, we're going to conversation and reviews. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it and we're going to talk about it good. Oftentimes, we get set in some ways and we I don't know. I'm just happy and blessed to be here. And we're going to dive into it together. We're going to roll with it together. Conversation and reviews. Women's empowerment. I'm now live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live. It's been a while since I've been on Facebook Live, but I do have a fans page, so it's under construction right now. Moving forward, I will be going live on Facebook from my fans page. This is my personal page, but I wanted to kick the new year off. We're doing Women's Empowerment Month. So we're getting down and having conversations, talking about it, adult conversations, and we're going to dive in deep into it. To get caught up to speed, go to my YouTube channel, Doug King's Table, go to live, and you will see the videos that I've done involving women's empowerment. First, we started out introduction. Then we went from getting down to the root of one's behavior. Where did it all stem from? A lot of times we talk about the trauma, growing up as a child, the trauma, fatherless daughters, and so forth. What solutions? How does it affect the woman's love life? Okay. I mean, we have fun with it. We're having fun with it. But at the same time of having fun with it, we're bringing that word home, bringing that message home, because it gives men a little bit more understanding of why a large number of women behave the way they behave, especially what we're seeing on social media. Next month will be men's empowerment. It's going to be the same format, but it's going to be geared towards men. So it will give women an understanding of how men move and why men move the way that they move. What things did they suffer as a child? What type of childhood trauma are the men faced with? And why it affects the men's love life as well. So we diving into it both, as well as using my own personal experiences to implement some points and to bring some things home. And I have certain people that you see right now that's going to bring some things home and shed some light on some things. That's why I call it conversations and review. So enough of me talking. Peace, love, and blessings to all. Grab your shoulder pads and your helmet. Let's get this work.
People live in a microwave generation where if it gets hard, it's like, next, and so how did you and dad fight?
We had strong disagreements.
Just so how did you never fight in front of us?
We knew that if we had a disagreement, we didn't have to discuss it at that very moment in time. We had disagreements when the door was closed after everybody was in bed.
Okay, so how did you?
Let me just stop off right there. That's the way it's supposed to be. Last time that I checked, when parents would have disagreements, they waited until the house was clear. They waited until the house was cold for. Then they went into the room and they had the discussions. And whatever the outcome of the discussions was, they left it at that. Once again, the things that individuals pick up as children. Brace yourself. It's going to be a ride. Let's get this work.
Have enough emotional regulation, not to go off, because sometimes when you're just in the moment and you want to punch your person in the face, have you ever had that moment? Like if you and dad each probably wanted to punch each other in the face. I just need to know if it's real or not.
No, I never wanted to punch him.
Never?
Mm-mm.
We're all doomed. Because I feel like, I don't know. And also, if you guys are looking at my mom and you see her black eye, do you want to share? We have to address it because they're going to be like, she got punched in the face. Well, just in case they did.
Well, it's nothing now, but
Yes.
before it looked like I was in a real true brawl. Like my eye was closed.
Purple.
It was
Matched your
really,
shirt.
really, really, well, it was first black,
And
then
it's
it was
flowers.
purple and black, and then it was black and blue and green.
Yeah.
It was just really bad. But that's because I never stopped doing stuff.
True.
And I'm getting old, but I'm not gonna get old. So I actually was on the deck and I was repairing the railing on the deck
Mm-hmm.
and I tripped on something.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it was because one moment I was standing and the next moment I was lying on my face.
Yeah.
So when I look at the scene, my guess is that when I fell, I tried to brace myself. I was going toward the lawn chair.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I missed the lawn chair with my hands and caught it with my face, right? Just right here, just one little bump.
Oh, I was shooketh when
Yeah.
we FaceTime every day. We literally FaceTime every day. And when I saw your face, I was like, first of all, how does the other guy look?
Yeah.
But one thing, and this is another thing too, because when I think of the question about what you look for in your day, like my mom is almost 70, you know, and thinking about you and dad almost being 70 years old, it's just such a difference in the generation. From now to back then. You think it's the same?
You know what?
We definitely see a difference within the generations. When it comes to dating, when it comes to interaction, there is a totally different, it's just different. Animals show their love for each other more than humans do, number one. But we see a difference in the behavior. Once again, this is Women's Empowerment Month. So our conversations mainly is going to be geared towards women. Next month, all of our conversations mostly going to be geared towards men and Men's Empowerment Month. But back to this here before she continues to share. When it comes to what women, the behavior of women, most women, not all, when it comes to the upbringing, whether that woman has had her father in her life or has not had her father in her life, have had her mother in her life, has not had her mother in her life, or both wasn't in her life and she was raised by, grandparents. We see a different in certain things that was taught in the upbringing. Now, for the most part, those that are, let's just say from the South, large number of women, they were taught the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. So you're going to learn how to cook. Some were trained to become wives, period. Versus what we have now, that when you talk about being submissive or what you bring to the table, it's a trigger. Or I don't need no man, or I can do it by myself, this and so forth. So there's some disconnect from the things that Big Mama taught you and taught you how to be and what you've become as an adult and how the things of your past creep up and affect you as an adult in so many ways. Let's continue.
What's funny, and I just said this to your brothers the other day because they were trying to tell me how women are different now.
Do you agree?
I say there's nothing new under the sun. And what I had to laugh at, I said to your dad, do you remember your mom saying that? Do you remember your grandma saying that? There's nothing new under the sun. So are there girls who are maybe in a different mindset that are maybe looking for things that are, I'll use a biblical term, that wax old?
Mhm.
Not the important things
Mhm.
like truth and trust and faith and love.
Mhm.
That isn't new. That was there then. We just kind of hid it.
Mm.
You know, when you watch TV, you saw Dick Van Dyke and his wife slept in separate beds, but that's what you saw, but it wasn't real. You knew they slept in the same bed. Well, we didn't. We were kids, right? But it's all the same. It's only presented differently.
Mm.
And I have to agree from generation to generation. But something has happened, something has taken place to where, excuse me, the very things that we were taught, the very things that we have learned were shifted, have taken a different curve. You know, whatever happened to when we went out on a date, it didn't matter where we went, long as we enjoyed being in each other's time. I mean, being in each other's presence, spending time together. It wasn't about how much money we have to spend at the restaurant. It didn't matter about the restaurant, the name of the restaurant. We didn't care about that. It wasn't about the food in the restaurant. It was about us spending time together. It was about doing the little things that mattered, that meant so much. That man was presentable. That man was respectful. That woman was presentable. That woman was respectful. So something happened from generation to generation where things shifted. Now you have social media. Now you have the music, the entertainment industry. When people sell their soul to the things of this world, the devil will come to collect in so many ways. Let's get it.
We all still have that same choice. And I'm going to use women because you know I'm old fashioned. We still have that same choice that we had back then to be the chaste woman or the one that wasn't chaste, that maybe ended up with the baby and sent off to auntie's house to have the baby and come back with no baby. It happened. So no, are women different? They don't have to be. Women can still make the same choices that we made back then. And it's not always easy. And I'll use cultural and maybe I'm gonna get myself in hot water here.
Ready for it.
But when I was a younger woman and you met someone and you really liked them and you had to stay chaste, but there was always a white girl.
Oh, a white girl.
That was willing, I'm serious, not only to do whatever, but to share whatever. Oh, here, take my car. Oh, here's the money. Oh, here. And so, how do you compete with that?
And they weren't chaste. They didn't decide to stay chaste.
Oh, no. No, no, no. No, no, really. No.
Again, back then, it was about I like you, you like me. Let's get to know each other. Let's go on a picnic. Let's go for a walk. Let's go get some ice cream. Let's go to Yogurt Land. How many people remember Yogurt Land? 31 flavors. You had fun. I take $10, you take $10, that's $20. Let's go, as an example. And we had fun together. That's how it was. That's how simple relationships are simple to have. A large number of individuals make them so difficult. They say, Big Truck, why do you talk about it so much? because of the things that I've seen versus what I've experienced versus what I've heard versus the things that I was taught. Those know my testimony. Those know what happened and what I went through in 2019. But I had to go through those things in order for me to look at myself first, then assess the situation. Okay, now it's time to go back and go face that past. You got to be willing to face it. You have to be willing to go back, tear down the layers of your past, and find out, why do I keep attracting the same people? Why do I keep marrying the same people? Because at the end of the day, certain patterns need to be broken. And if it's those patterns that's causing you to hit that wall each and every time until you deal with self and assess the situation, the same song is going to be playing in your tape deck. Let's continue to feast.
First date, like, no. And I'm sure that's not all girls.
Right.
Cultural.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are nice girls in all cultures, but I remember having your heart strings really, pulled on, because young men sometimes don't have their mind in the right place.
Rarely do they.
And if they are given the choice between my future with a woman who's honorable and trying to be a virtuous woman,
Yeah.
or can I go over here and have fun and I can even take her car?
I mean, touche.
It makes it hard.
Yeah.
And then it's really hard for a young woman to make those choices. But I believe there are still women who are invested in being a virtuous woman.
I do believe. Some people say you think. In some cases, when you use the term I think, that means you're unsure. Either you know or you don't know, yes or no. So I believe, I know for a fact, that good men and good women have always been walking around the universe. Sometimes we have to look at who we choose versus who we pass up. Oh, gotta love mushroom coffee. I chose to have It's Giving podcast. And shout out to Miss Fontenot. She's very funny on a Country Wayne show. But for her to bring her mother, and this is her mother, to shed some light on some things, I thought it'd be more appropriate to add some old school flavor so that we can really dive in deep into this thing. Do men love women? Of course. Men don't hate women. But when we look at what social media and the entertainment industry has thrown out there for a large number of women to gravitate to, I don't need no man, I hate you, man got to spend this amount of money on me, men got to do this, men got to do that. Again, if we flip the script, let a man say all those things. You know how stupid that would sound? Now you see how stupid that sounds, hearing a large number of women say that very exact same thing. And that's where we got to move from that. Because truth be told, we all need each other. Men need women, women need men. But the things that we don't need, men do not need to be in a relationship with a woman or be partnered up with the woman and she disrespects him. We got to change that. Let's continue to feast.
And in finding a man who will appreciate that I still believe that. So is it different? Well, maybe it's different because we have, 3 or 4 billion more people. So maybe there are a few more million girls who are different on that side.
I think that social media has definitely changed some things. So I kind of agree with like whoever it was I was saying it, Grandma, Joel, Marcus. I don't know who's saying anything, but um I think that the internet has made people have an inflated sense of self. And I know you're not on a lot of the apps, but there are people that live for attention and likes and comments.
And I'm glad she's bringing that up because with the large number of women, we see it. Managwanwa see it. And we see why the behavior is the way that it is. And it's okay, you know, for a large number, not every, a large number of women to go on social media and blast men. Like men ain't watching. Like men are not taking notes. Like men are not paying attention. And you have some that are real, they're not about that life. Because I take what a woman says, I'm looking at her body language, I'm looking at her facial micros. Half the things that she says, she don't even know what she's saying. But a large number of them do things for attention. Like that's not like what you said and how you said what you said ain't gonna come back on you. Mm.
Instead of really focusing on being a virtuous woman.
Nothing new under the sun.
Touche.
So now you maybe have a bigger audience, but there was the girl who wore the hot pants and the plunging neckline and the high heels to high school, and everybody noticed them, right?
Most of them had babies in high school.
Yes.
Or shortly after.
Yes.
You know what I'm also really grateful for, and this is really random, but no one liked me growing up.
That's not true.
It is true.
No.
Boys did not like.
That's not true.
It is true. I'm trying to tell you, but I'm grateful boys didn't like me because most of the women that the boys liked all had children early.
Yeah.
Like the prettiest girls in school had kids when they were 18, 19, 20.
Ladies, question, and you can leave them in the comment, reading Facebook Live or YouTube Live. This is a question for the ladies. What was it like going to high school? What was your vibe like in high school? You see, was you that type that was quiet, reserved, or you was that type that was outgoing and out there? What was it like? You know what? Let's go all in. Men, what was it like when you was in high school? Same question. Hey, let's go all the way. Was you the reserve type? Kind of stay to yourself. Or was you out there, the life of the party? Sometimes we have to have time of reflection. And in that time of reflection, and we really delve deep into us, self, you got to be willing to correct them things. You got to be willing to look at the broad picture of it all. You see me? Look at the broad picture of it. We only get one life. You don't know when Elohim gonna send for you. So until then, and you still able to wake up every morning and breathe, that's enough right there to be appreciative of life. But that's also enough to say, what things can I change? How can I make my life better? If I got any issues or any qualms with someone, let me go squash that. Because you don't want to leave your job undone. Run till that.
2021. I didn't get that. Even Lauren as an example. Lauren, if you're on this live, feel free to chime in here. But even Lauren, who is stunning, who literally got the #1 MVP CFL football player in the league, like the most highly sought after bachelors who Lauren married, right? Had a baby young with him. So it's literally like one of the things that I've realized. I almost feel like being an ugly duckling worked in my favor.
You were never an ugly
I
duckling.
was, Mom. I was.
You were never.
I was a nerd in high school. I was a straight nerd. I was skinny with glasses. Like, I was that dude. I was that dude that, okay, we're going to shove him in a locker. I was that dude, we taking your lunch and you ain't going to eat lunch for the day. But a senior in high school, I began to develop. And it was a wrap then. Let's just say I got my respect. Let's continue.
Never an ugly
To
duckling.
you, because you're my mother.
And that's what you always said.
I'm just saying, it's the truth. I did not get any play. None of the boys liked me.
The boys were intimidated by you.
No, it's a good mother, right?
No, really they were, because you were very strong-minded and you didn't put up with any crap.
Ooh, I approached them like that.
You have.
Do you think I'm gonna get married?
You might. There's going to be some strong man out there that knows how to deal with Sarah Fontenot.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I like what Mom said, deal with you. When it comes to, because I know a large number of women ask that same question. I'm almost at 40,000 subscribers. You know, thank you. I thank you all. And I get emails. I get emails of men and women but mainly women asking me this very exact same question about getting married, or how do I attract that one? How do what is it that I need to do, need to be, and so forth. And I keep it simple. The best advice to give: be your authentic self. Don't try to be like the Cardi B's and the Meg Thee Stallions and the Nicki Minaj's and the Sexy Reds and you know, and the Ice Spices. Don't try to be any of that. Be yourself. Say hello. Say thank you. The same energy, speaking to the ladies, the same energy that you used, that you had when you got that job, that's the same energy when it comes to your love life. What did you do? You saw that job that you wanted. You applied for it. You got your resume together. You did what you needed to do. You got the interview. You prepared for the interview. You aced the interview. They called you and told you that you were hired. You started orientation. You went through the process. The job didn't come knocking at your door. You saw it and you went for it. Same thing when it comes to your love life. You see that man that you like or that you attracted, whatever the case may be, go get him. Hello, my name is. Those are nice shoes you're wearing today. Everything starts with a hello and a compliment. Hey, would you like to go grab a cup of coffee? I'd like to get to know you. You see, ladies, I know that we all do not all have that fear of rejection, do not like to get rejected, but guess what? It's going to happen. Men are used to it. Men are used to be told no. But for the most part, you have to be willing to bypass all of that. Because when it comes to that, what one person won't do, somebody else will. All is fair in love and war. Let's continue.
If you're willing.
Touche.
Yeah. Mhm.
Would you be sad if I never got married?
No, I would not be sad if you never got married.
It would make sense to you?
No, that's not it either. But do you remember? So they say
Mm-hmm.
mothers teach their daughters and love their sons.
Yes.
And one of the life lessons that I gave you girls was that you don't have to marry.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said that in the old days, that's what women had to do. You had to marry, you had to have kids, and you really didn't get to have any control over your life, where you wanted to go, what you wanted to be. But things were changing. And so you don't ever have to marry if you don't want to. You don't have to be a wife. That's not your, what's the adjective I'm looking for? That's not your destiny. It can be your destiny if you want that to be, but it doesn't have to be. Women have choices now.
Yeah.
So if you choose.
And because women have choices now, you have to be willing to have many or multiple meetings with yourself, so that you yourself can come to the understanding and come to the reality if you want to be married or you don't, if you want to have children or you don't. And making sure the person that you are partnered up with has that same understanding and the both of you are on the same page. Because what we're seeing right now in real time is a large number of women are making some dumb mistakes. And I'm going to keep it a bean with you. Some don't want to hear the harsh truth. But there's a large number out there that need to hear the harsh truth. Because now it faces you to look at yourself. And sometimes we have to be willing to face ourselves in order. If we can't face ourselves and deal with ourselves, how can we expect someone else to?
Choose to marry, that's great. Marriage can be wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
If you choose not to marry, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Pursuing a career and a life goal can be wonderful. It's up to you.
I think one of the things that I think about, because I do have a very full life and I am very happy in real life. I love to just, I could be at home talking to my girls, talking to you, talking, with whoever, like people. I just love the people that I love, male or female, my friends, or platonic and romantic, right? But one of the questions that I do ask myself, because I'm 36 now and I haven't had children yet. And one of the things that I think about is, will I have children? And not even in the sense of I'm getting too old, or like it's not even that conversation. It's, when is my time for me up? Not because of my body, but because of my mind. And
I'm going to answer that, and then we're going to shift. We're going to shift to the other clip. We'll never know when it's going to be our time. But when you are available, when you're persistent, you're willing, you're patient, you're open, you're kind, you're relaxed, you have peace, and you open yourself to the universe of those things, the universe is going to bring that person with those qualities, if not more, to you. But again, it starts with you willing. You have to be willing to do something different in order to have something that you never had but always wanted. Shout out to my man Sean C. TSG Uncut. Go to that King's channel, show him some love. Peep this out. Shoulder pads and helmet. Let's go.
George C. Fraser mentioned in the opening clip that the lack of marriage in the Black community is the biggest existential threat. And he's right, of course. But I happen to think that baby mama culture and the exalting of it is the root of the problem to which he discussed. Think about it. Not having a father in a home puts a child at a learning, emotional, and a developmental disadvantage while growing up. Women not prioritizing marry before they carry and not prioritizing the type of man that can be a father is why a lot of these kids grow up fatherless. Now, I know there are a lot of single mothers that are out there doing the best that they can, but the statistics tell us that their best isn't good enough.
It's statistically a fact, single mothers, we produce the worst product, right? Part of that, when we talk about males, especially black males, we don't realize that we're programmed, because if you don't understand history, you won't realize that, like, it starts with the female. Even when we were slaves, the idea is if you program the mind of the female slave, she will raise the offspring to continue your agenda without you having to be physically involved. She will teach her children to abide, because we're the first givers of life and care when kids are small. So we train them up to be good slaves, follow these particular rules. We indoctrinate and, create certain philosophies in their mind. So by the time they're big and strong, they still following behind the same agenda that was placed into us. So when you look at males that come from single mother-headed households, if you don't get around positive male role models, you have the emotional management skills of a woman.
You're 30 years old. You're 30.
And this is why we try to bring that thing home with men's conversation, having conversations at the table, men, having conversations at the water cooler, having conversations in the end zone, having conversations on the sideline, having conversations in the locker room, men coming together, having conversations, embracing that, not judging, okay, with no judgment. We ain't got to blast on each other, but we uplift each other. And this is one of the things that we see more men having, where most women have a problem with that, because it's one can look at it in the way of, okay, you're teaching men how to hate women, to go against women, to shame women, to bash women. No. You know how many women bash men every day, all day? So the moment men can come together and huddle up and uplift each other, it's a problem. I ain't lying. Come on now, catch it.
Years old. I'm standing here for to go through this with you. All I did was ask you to take the trash out.
I'm not taking no trash
You
out.
you live here rent free. What you mean I don't need no damn man? Take out no garbage. You your son living here rent free.
No, because I'm your son. I ain't asked to be in this world.
To be in this world. It's time for you to get up and do what you gotta do. It's been 30 years.
But if you really want to,
And I would never, we would never talk to our dad like that. Ain't no way in the world we would talk to our dad like that. But this is where we at. Oh, reality. I'm giving you reality today. Go learn today. But it's one thing to hear me speak, but it's another when there's proof to support it, when there's clips to support it.
To understand how some men relate to women in terms of their attitudes and behaviors, you have to go back to their earliest childhood experiences with their mothers.
Because it's the truth. She knows it.
And when we look at the data, particularly in Black communities on child abuse, the data tells us that the majority of the abuse and the fatalities are perpetuated by women.
How are people just this evil in the world? Mom made her 3-year-old son say goodbye.
This woman unalived her son and unalived herself because she didn't want to lose her son in a custody battle. The system, once again, failed another child. The man was fighting to get his child. She knew she was going to lose.
We have studies that document that black boys may be the best students in the country up until 4th grade. So the question is, what happens to black boys in the intermediate and upper grades to begin to create the kind of image that you're talking about when they become...
But see, again, these type of conversations most don't want to have. But in order to get down to the root of it all, we got to have these conversations. We got to be able to sit down and say, okay, let me look and assess the situation for what it is. Does that mean all women are wrong? No. But you do have some that do behave this way. You cannot turn a blind eye to the truth and the things that you see when you walk out of the doors of your home.
18 years and older. I sincerely believe that only men can make boys men. Now, don't misquote me. I did not say that a single female parent cannot rear or educate her child, but she need not do that by herself. Where a black boy is going to see black men. If you look at the home, 38% of all black children live in a single-run household. And then, unfortunately, many young people, men don't go to church. So the last place is the streets, and that's the problem. The streets do a very poor job making black men.
You got to understand the cycle and when it's been started. You say, when it's been started. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
I think a lot of people are capable of working and are willing to work, but it's just the way it's set up. The mother and the children are better off if the husband isn't working or if the husband isn't there. And this breaks up so many poor families.
This phenomenon of the existential crisis of our family only exists among African American black people. It does not exist on the continent or anywhere else in the diaspora. So there must be something in the water. We must fix this. It's a lot easier said than done because it is impacting our wealth.
See, when fathers are present in the home, then it's the father, the uncle, the brothers. It's their job to vet the men that are looking to marry their daughter, their sister, their niece. It's their job to make sure that that man is going to be an upstanding man, a good provider.
Have you ever been in a situation where in order, for you to date the daughter, you had to have a conversation with the father? The father had to sit down and have a conversation with you, and you was kind of nervous. See, Pops knew. Pops used to be a boy. Pops used to be a teenager. Pops used to be a young man. Game recognized game. So if you want to date my daughter, I need to see what type of individual you are. What's your character like? What's your intentions with my daughter? Because I raised my daughter right.
But without men helping to check other men, we know that women are terrible at selecting men. And this ends up being felt by the children that they have. But women are even worse at giving other women advice.
Listen, I don't know who needs to hear this, but just because you have multiple baby daddies does not mean that you are less valuable.
But that's a lie.
It does not mean that nobody will date you, okay? It just means that you need to refine your dating standards. Because there are men out there like this who will say to you that you are less valuable because you have multiple children with multiple men. But at the end of the day, men who do that, I really qualify them as my sisters.
Shut the fuck up!
I posted that I am a 44-year-old.
I didn't know he was going to cuss, but yeah, please excuse that. We're getting down. Get the meat and potatoes of it. Get the meat and potatoes of it. There's a lot of hidden jewels in here. Let's continue.
Mother of 10. That doesn't matter how many baby's fathers I have.
I don't think it matters what I believe.
I'm glad I didn't stick with one, because if I had one fucked up baby daddy.
Okay, we're gonna fast forward this. Let's go.
I ended up going to jail, and the whole entire time I was in jail, he pretended like he wasn't fucking with her. The whole entire time he was still fucking with her. I found that out once I got back out, and I still took him back.
Why did you do that? Why?
And after I took him back, he got...
Basically, making choices and decisions that are not good. You have to be mindful of the choices and decisions that you make when it comes to a woman dating a man and pursuing a relationship with a man. Okay? You have to be willing. Get you a man with good sense, ladies. And if it's an issue, and if you have things going on, okay, let me look at my past. Why is it that I keep attracting these bad men? What is it about me? Okay, let me look at my upbringing. Let me look at the things that those childhood experiences, those childhood events that's prompting me to date the same type of men and think it's okay. But then let's look at the entertainment industry. What type of entertainers are you gravitating to? That you're trying to be like, have a lifestyle like? I didn't know it was going to be a lot of, cussing in this clip. But at the same time, we're going to drive reality home. We all adults here. Grab your shoulder pads and your helmet. Again, let's get this work.
Got locked up and I'm currently holding him down.
I'm not surprised. My God, this right here proves that it's over. So this man right here says his baby mama and his son were put out of the house by the baby mama's current boyfriend. So he decided to go steal the boyfriend's car, and he said his baby mama's now put up somewhere in the house while he's driving around in this stolen car with their son right there in the back.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
While he's daring that man to come and get the car, and he better not call 12, aka the police. Look at what these women are saying. I'd be back with my baby daddy tonight. Am I toxic? Because I would marry my baby daddy after this. And that's the night we conceived your brother. This is my type of crash out.
And these are the types of women that will sit up there and have the audacity to say, I want a high value man. You see, a good man comes along, they would self-sabotage that. They would throw that away. They would friend zone him to get with men like this. We call them Pookie and Ray Rays. Where did this behavior come from? This is why we gotta peel back the layers. Ladies, you have to be willing to peel back I cannot be making this up. I'm giving it to you. You're seeing it. Don't just listen to me, but I'm showing you. Different clips revolving around the same thing. Men are paying attention. Men are listening. Not every woman behaves this way. Let me make that clear. But we know those that do behave this way. Men are not stupid. Men are not dumb.
I may need a therapist. My immediate thought was, now this is love. If my baby daddy not coming like this, I don't want him. This is so romantic to me. Wish my baby daddy was halfway like this. Am I too old to get me a young baby daddy so solid? She definitely gonna keep them books stacked. God, I done picked the wrong baby daddy. So we all toxic.
What's wrong with you, old?
What's disgusting is all the women that are in the comments cheering on this type of baby daddy. This is a problem. This cannot be blamed on us men for women thinking that that dude is the type of dude that they want. I want you all to remember that it is women who are quick to tell everyone how independent they are. Why is it that they can't take accountability of their choices without blaming some other man?
I have been a single mom for all of 2 years, and I have to say, I hate it here. I don't hate being a mom. I don't hate having kids, but I hate the fact that I only had 2 options. Either stay in an unhealthy, dysfunctional relationship or do it all on my own.
Whatever happened to changing the dynamics of the way that you move, changing your mindset? Whatever happened to sitting down with grandpa and grandma and ask those questions. You would have thought that an individual would have learned after the first, after the second. But anything past that, accountability is a woman's kryptonite to a large number of them. What about taking advice from a good woman with good sense? Because a woman with good sense, you'll know what type of woman she is, because she moves totally different. She don't move like the women of this world. She's respectful, she's cordial, and so forth. Hardworking, loving, nurturing. The things that good women do that goes unreported, in my opinion, because so much bad is out there, so much ratchetness is being promoted. 99-cent mop bucket 304 lifestyle characteristics is being reported, is being supported. But yet, here you can have the black woman or a good woman, period, that loves to cook for her man, that loves to do things for the family, that keeps the love and the peace in her household. Oh, I don't want to talk about that part. Don't want to talk about nothing that the good woman is doing. We want all the bad. Same thing with the men. Don't want to talk about the good things that the man does. Whether he's a good man, a good boyfriend, a good husband, a good father. Don't want to talk about the goodness that he does. We want to promote and talk about all the bad. Okay, let's be on our way.
Kicker is that this is culturally normal.
Here I come. Oh, here I come. You and that man break up. That man and that kid break up. Because if he goes and finds another family, his loyalty is to them. To the family he has. Not the broken family he helped create. To the family he's trying to maintain. So I get it if you have kids over there and kids over here. Why are you treating these kids over here better than the kids over there? So are you overall a bad dad?
Yes.
Nah.
Yes, that's fucking no.
It's
Because
about
first of all-
perspective. It's
first
about
of all-
perspective.
first of all-
And I get it. We all have our challenges. We're all going through our own struggles. But why is it culturally normal for this to be the only other option?
Because your upbringing. What things did you experience growing up? What things were familiar to you growing up? What did you see? What type of environment were you around? Okay.
God, you can't make this shit up.
We break down the numbers. But when he said there's a poor selection of black men, I want to know where that comes from. 22 black million men in America. So you got 660,000 black men incarcerated. You got 500,000 black men who are LGBTQ. It's 460,000, but I added 40,000 for the down low brothers. You got 1.3 million with no job. Then you got 2.86 million addicted to drugs. So that's around 5.4 million black men out of 22 million. That would be 24%. But even if you stack it on top of each other, out of 22 million, you get to 5.4 million, 24%. How is that a poor selection? 76%, the vast majority of black men out here got a job, they're attracted to women, they ain't on drugs. Well, what do you mean by poor selection? There's more Antoine Fishers out here than Tyrone's.
I'm a good man.
Yeah, I gave baby up for adoption.
Why'd you give my baby up for adoption, Alicia?
Because you weren't here, you were in jail. I don't want to be a single mother by myself.
You ain't shit.
Alicia, I was gone 10 months, and my baby was just born a month ago.
Well, I want to live my life, like I just told you. I didn't know how long you was gonna be in jail. I wanted to be outside, be in the streets.
I know you and lying.
Travel, get a bag. And I can't do that with a child and you in prison.
Alicia, I am his sole father. I didn't get no decision to make that.
No, you don't. When you threw your life away to be in jail, you don't get no type of.
But again, you seeing it. You seeing it. This is where the generation has come to. This is where we at. The decision making. I cannot be making this stuff up. But I'm saying this to say, I'm going to let it play out and I'm going to give my final thoughts. Because there's going to be some truth behind all of this that we're going to bring home.
Agreement, communication, nothing. So I got a baby weight. Why would you do that, you crazy fucking bitch?
Would you sacrifice your family for your happiness, or would you sacrifice your happiness for your family?
If I'm not happy, no.
What about you?
I would definitely go for my happiness, because what is life about if we're not trying to be happy?
And what about you?
I've actually been there and done that, and I did choose my happiness, and I'm happy I did.
With all of your answers, this is the reason why women initiate 70 to 80% of the divorces, because you prioritize your happiness over your family. Marriage is about purpose and duty. Happiness is fleeting. It's up and down, meaning that you're happy at one moment and then you're not happy another moment. Men really love a girl. You just love that man based off how you feel. I think the only thing you do love is your feelings. Men, we don't prioritize the way we feel. We prioritize what's real, and that's family, that's the woman, that's the children. So we'll sacrifice our happiness for a relationship without a problem.
And when it comes down to it, again, excuse the language, but we got to tell the truth about it. We got to be honest about it. It's not about a feel-good message. It's not that Kool-Aid, but it's that harsh truth that a large number of individuals need to hear. Yeah, I knew I was going to ruffle feathers. Good, because the truth need to be heard. That's what we do here on my podcast show, The King's Table. We all adults. So let's get down with it. Let's talk about it. And once we're done talking about it, let's come up with a solution. There are tons of solutions to this all. But how many are going to be willing to change their mindset? You have to unlearn what you have learned. The renewing of your mind has to change. Oh man, I can't believe Big Truck, certain clips you playing. And if you are offended, turn it off. But I'm going to continue to put the truth out there. I'm going to continue to come from a place where here's the thing. If I'm put in a situation, I'm put in a place, in a position where I have no choice but to look at myself, so be it. Large number of women need to take a look at themselves. Bring out the best in you. You're better. Be the best version of yourself for many people to see. I tell that to men and women. In order for you to be the best version of yourself, you have to be willing to look at yourself, acknowledge self, take self-accountability. And you have to be willing to look at certain areas and say, okay, I need to deal with this. I need to deal with that. Because I'm tired of being in the same place, doing the same things. But when it comes to my love life, I keep hitting the same damn wall. Something has to give. All women ain't bad. All women ain't evil. But you got the bad that mess it up for the good. And we're seeing it. Take us home, Sean C.
Woman calls out successful men for not wanting to date single moms. Single successful men that don't want to date women with kids is so sassy to me.
You raised them. It's our fault. We play into the powers that be that keep fathers out of the household. And there's so much emphasis on the importance of Black fathers and fathers in the lens of their children's lives, specifically their sons. There's so much blame and emphasis on how Black men's absence in the home, fathers in general's absence in the home affects our young men, but there's not enough conversation about how it affects us women. I will argue that it possibly is more detrimental to us than it is to you all. Women are just out here running reckless. I have been one of them. I'm 100% accountable. And I wish that more women would be accountable and honest about how the lack of fatherhoods in our lives have messed us up.
So,
Damn. Truth. 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 Walk outside. Take a walk outside your doorstep. You live long enough. You're going to see it. You observe daily life. You're going to see it. You be around your friends. You're going to see it. You at work. Your co-workers. You're going to see it. And this is why I hit this home.
who has the highest household median wealth in America? It's East Indians, $104,000 a year. What's the marriage rate in the East Indian culture? 94%, two are working. Who's number two? Chinese Asians. Household median income, $110,000 a year. Marriage rate close to 70%. Number three are white people. Household median income, $88,000 a year. What's the marriage rate? Almost 50%, down significantly. Number four are Hispanics. Household median income, $61,000 a year. Marriage rate, close to 70%. We are at the bottom. Household median income, $55,000 a year. Marriage rate, 34%. And projected based on facts and statistics that if we do not fix this, because white folks ain't fixing this, our marriage rate will be in the low teens in the next 20 years.
So when it comes down to it, got to fix this. How we going to fix it? It starts with self. That's number one. Self-accountability. And having a conversation. The more we have conversations like this, the more we have video reactions and individuals sharing. That's the start of it. Rome wasn't built overnight, but Rome was built. And it's a process. Are you willing to go through the process? Are you willing to take the time to sit and listen and put yourself in each other's shoes? Not enough individuals ready to do that. Sometimes you have to leave your ego, leave your attitude, leave all that stuff at the door. Sometimes you just have to go in with something, lean in with good intentions. It pays to be kind to yourself and kind to others. It pays to listen to yourself and listen to others. It pays to ask questions. It pays to do a lot of things that are good, that's going to open doors for you, versus paying attention to the things that are closing doors for you. Until then, and only then, and I thank y'all on this Shabbat day for tuning in. I'm thankful and grateful for those on Facebook Live. I'm thankful and grateful for those on YouTube Live. I'm thankful and grateful for those on Rumble. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Trust me, there's more coming this year. We're going to have an amazing year, a successful year. The key word for this year, and keep it in mind, consistency. You got to be consistent in all that you do and say. Consistency is the key.